my pleasure to introduce to you our next speaker. Joining me on the beautiful blue couch in the south of France is Fintan Gillespie from the one and only Snapping. So, Fintan, you are the head of UK Business Solutions at Snapping.
That's right, yeah.
But you also have Google under your belt.
Yes.
Which gives us a really good indication that you know the digital landscape quite well.
Well, I hope so. And I started my career in Google South Africa working with some of your founding team.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great pleasure to be back and to see the agency flourish, both globally and in the services you offer. So thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. For me as well, it feels like I'm kind of heading back into a few of my roots with Snap. So it's good. It's really great to have you here. So the thing that's made Snap so, I would say, attractive is that you've managed to essentially reinvent the camera, and you've essentially become the form of communication for I would say, for many of us. We've got Kim Kardashian kind of leading the way, but as well as a really large younger audience.
That's right.
So what will you say, with Snap being around since 2011, what is making it so interesting? And for those advertisers that are not necessarily Snapchatters themselves, what would you say, giving them advice, how to get into that?
Yeah, well, we started with the camera, so we really started to flourish when the first selfie-enabled iPhone arrived, and that's what really Snap was founded on, this concept of communicating with the camera. It's far more powerful and engaging than using your keyboard. And for Gen Z, that's how they communicate. They communicate through our camera, not using keyboards like what I grew up with my Nokia 5110 when I was that age, right? Yeah. So communication has completely changed, and it's done far more visually, and it's such an amazing platform to tell a visual and engaging story to your closest friends.
What should they think of? Let's say like an advertiser that's not really used to communicating this way, right? They have to now start thinking about strategies and kind of building it in, and often as people we reference what we know. So what would you say they should reference? Yeah,
I think that's the biggest challenge we've had since I joined the company in 2016. We've always had the challenge of CMOs not using the application they're going to advertise on, right?
Yes.
But now we're mainstream. I mean, we have 600 million monthly active users, right? So it's a huge audience. They're absolutely engaged. The app makes them feel happy. In fact, we're the happiest. The app that makes people the most happy out of all the social apps that are out there, right? So, you know, people love to play, they love to be engaged, they love to communicate with their close friends and family there. On the advertising side, we've created a highly visual platform, sound on, across our video business and also through the camera. And we're really, truly innovating through what the camera can offer and how that can sort of change the landscape for the digital ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love the fact that you say it's a happy platform, the color, everything does kind of remind you of just being happy. And you kind of introduced the idea of filters, right? So this is before all of the trend words we have today, like AR.
Yeah.
But we were all kind of like mesmerized by the filters. But how important is AR going to be in the future of Snap, but also just generally speaking in the industry?
Well, yeah, so and people wouldn't even, our users don't even refer to AR. They just, you know, they play with lenses and filters.
They don't know the difference,
it's just part of their daily lives on the app. So every day, 250 million people out of our user base plays with with augmented reality in the camera, right? So it's not like we're in the future now on Snapchat,
yeah, it's
right?
Already there.
It's already there, right? And so that is a core element of the behavior and the way that our users use the application. So they're so used to it, and like many areas of innovation, you start with the fun, puking rainbows or dog ears that, you know, we became really well known for.
I've been there.
But fast forward to today, and we see a huge opportunity, particularly in areas like retail, to demonstrate a product through the camera.
Yeah.
So right now, you can open your Snapchat camera today. I can point the camera at my feet and try the latest Dior shoe, right? And you know, that is the equivalent in the real world of going into a store and trying something on, right? You're getting that extra engagement. And that engagement, you know, for performance marketers is quite powerful, because we can see now that drives better engagement in terms of playing and feeling the product, and also better conversion rate, because they can actually get a sense of what something's going to look like on them. So we really think that the camera can actually drive this far more personalized and engaging retail experience for our users, and that obviously benefits everyone. Like, one of the top things you're reading about in the news at the moment is the return rates of e-commerce. It's incredible, you know, and it's a huge cost to retail business. it's not great for the environment, right?
Yeah.
And so we believe that the camera can actually help improve that experience, which will ultimately lead to better performing advertising, better engagement, and less returns. And I think that is win-win-win for everybody.
So it's a really interesting topic for me, because out of necessity with COVID, all retailers essentially had to move online. And I think everybody was kind of wondering if they were going to miss that experience of kind of trying clothes on, or maybe doing a bit of a montage, but you guys are essentially bringing that experience home.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, retail is really interesting, and we've announced a lot of updates at our Partner Summit, which is our annual sort of developer conference, and I think some of the areas there are super exciting. So obviously we have the augmented reality try-on features, so point your camera at your shoe, and like think about all of the shoe retailers out there, from not just the Nikes and Adidases, but also the JD Sports of this world, right? It's very powerful for them. So we see a world for shoe retailers where your product feed that you use to advertise or use to power your website is not just using a flat image or even a video. It's actually has an extra element that is much more playful. We've also built the same utility AR platform for wrist, so for watch try-on, for all of the beauty categories, in terms of like making sure that it tracks perfectly to your face, getting all the color tones right so that the lipstick is actually the right tone, getting glasses on your face so real that when you actually record a video with someone who has the same glasses on in real life and they take them off, you can't even see the difference. So those are all super powerful areas already that we're already developing. And we think about, if you break down what that means for, say, a head of e-commerce, what it means is that on one side, so their app, their e-commerce app, right?
Yeah.
You go to a product description page, you have that experience. First off, when you're going through a retail website right now, everything is on a model. It's not personalized to you, right? But with ShoeTron, you can really personalize that experience, right? And we've given a suite of APIs called Camera Kit for shopping, and it essentially allows any retailer to integrate all of the stack that we've built for augmented reality into their own application. So on the product description page, you can have not just an image or a video, you also get augmented reality try-on powered by Snapchat. And if you start to ARify your feed, suddenly you have a very powerful feed that can then power much more effective campaigns on the Snapchat side for distribution sort of through our camera.
So you're simplifying a lot of what would be perceived as quite complex.
Absolutely.
But you're simplifying it.
Yeah, we're using the tech, complex machine learning models to go and do that. And then another area which is super interesting, you think about the scalability, right? For shoe try-on, it means you have to get a physical shoe, 3D model it, get it into Lens Studio. Like, yes, there are scale challenges there right now with the technology that's available. But what we've also done is we've looked at, like, how can we really scale this up in apparel? So one of the other areas we launched is this concept of 2D to 3D, where we can take your product feed, we can take, say, this shirt, right? It's sat on a model on a product feed. We now have tech that can pull that shirt off the model in 2D and turn it into 3D. And then within the Snapchat app now, we have a feature that allows you to take a series of full body selfies and then literally place that item on you.
I feel like you're taking me back to like my good old kid year where I get to like dress my Barbie in certain clothes. You're just making it sound all too easy.
Yeah. So if you think about how that scales out, that means every item of clothing essentially we have a way to get it on you.
Yeah.
And then you think of a future retail where, if you're not scrolling through a feed of clothes on models, you're scrolling through a feed of items on you. And how powerful that can be for the path to purchase and reducing return rate, etc., etc., etc.
I think you've definitely managed to nail one of the biggest hurdles, right? And it's the assets and how difficult it is to prepare those assets. And I think that's one of the biggest things we always try to look at, is how can we make sure that our clients essentially find an easy way to synchronize with tech.
Exactly right.
And we're heavily reliant on the tech being as sophisticated as that.
Yeah.
So one of the big things, of course, have been lens. We've always been doing kind of these customized lenses. I remember back in the day with Sunlam, as you might know, from South Africa, we used to always do these customized lenses.
Absolutely.
Now, these were always kind of available for general purchase, but this is now slightly changed. So could you tell us a bit more about how that works today?
In terms of the advertising side?
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, you know, I think what we were known for in the past is when you want to do these fun sponsored lenses, right?
Yeah.
The way it would work is you'd have to find either through Snapchat or through an agency, a third party that had the capabilities to build. And we've launched a platform called Lens Studio, so it's a free to download platform, and anyone with sort of 3D skill sets can essentially log in, create their 3D elements or import them in and build that object.
Yeah.
And we allow you to preview everything, and then you say on the press of a button, once it's ready, you can ship it to Snapchat. And we have templates within there that makes it really easy. So I could make you an Incubeta baseball hat like in 5 minutes in Lens Studio, right? And you can ship that. Now you can ship that either onto your business profile, so that's something that's new to Snap, so you can now claim your business on the platform and you can upload all of your lenses as a business.
Yeah.
Or you can ship them straight into Ads Manager and, you know, start with a budget of as little as $20 a day and just, you know, we have an very sophisticated ad platform now where no matter what your objective is, be it, you know, just getting reach for a big campaign launch all the way down to driving conversion and ROAS. So we've spent a long time getting our ad platform stack up to parity, and we believe now it's, you know, it's really fit for purpose for every use case.
No, absolutely, because I remember this being very concretely more so something that you would pair with a big brand launch because of the complexity and having to get third parties involved to kind of launch this.
Yeah.
But you've simplified it, so it almost becomes an everyday unit.
Yeah,
so
I think it becomes democratized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, and democratized today. So some of the areas I talked about in retail, you know, as I said, fully available today, but I don't think the industry has fully, you know, absorbed what augmented reality can mean in terms of business transformation. There are very few customers that do all of this well in-house, right? That have actually thought about, you know, I'm a retailer, I need to get my entire product feed in augmented reality. There are a few, you know, Amazon announced their entire footwear range last week will be in augmented reality try-on. IKEA has a lot of their catalogue in augmented reality already. So some of the major innovators in retail are obviously seeing this, seeing how engaging it can be. But I think there's a use case for every industry, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reality is that augmented reality is far more engaging for our users who come into it every day and love to play than many other, you know, forms of advertising that are out there in digital at the moment.
So augmented reality is not really a new topic, right? We've kind of touched on it a few years ago, but the technology wasn't really there. It was kind of poor quality and it was really difficult to execute. But now that you guys are simplifying it so much, do you think it's going to revolutionize shopping?
I really, truly do. Yeah. I
so
think
irrespective of the vertical, everybody's going to start jumping into this?
Well, we're not ready for every category, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you get a perfectly flowing dress in augmented reality. Now, you can go down to our Vogue exhibition, which we have on the Croisette here, and it's an amazing partnership because we can actually bring the full couture to life on you through the exhibition that we have, and we've worked with many designers from Gucci to my favorite art designer Richard Quinn, and that experience is just incredible. You can see how augmented reality can work right now with couture in mind, and luxury is a very important category for us, and I think many of the luxury brands that we work with realize how powerful that can be. Trying on the latest bag, placing it in front of you, getting a feel of the texture of the item, of the garment. It's just, I think it's sort of revolutionary.
I do think so too as well. I mean, we've had revolutionary experiences in terms of how these types of brands have kind of brought things to life years ago, right? And I always kind of say this, the publishers did it really well back in the day, the Cosmopolitans, the Vogue, when they were really publishing. It made you aspire wanting to get your hands on those brands. But these experiences make me feel like everybody's going to aspire more to get their hands on it because now they can actually see what it looks like.
Yeah, and that's the definition of luxury fashion, right?
Absolutely.
It's all aspirational,
it's
right?
Definitely doing it really right.
Yeah, and like if I think about the brands that are leaning in, like Ralph Lauren is going to be partnering with us. Their application is going to have all of augmented reality features powered by Snapchat in the background. Puma are doing the same. So these brands are really understanding that to actually build the AR platform that we've built from scratch is hugely costly, and we're giving these APIs away to the industry to use, open source. So I think that's the message. The clear message would be to go and test, play, try bring augmented reality to your e-commerce experience because it's available now.
It's there. It's good. So finally, one of the things I think I have to also get to is the theme of Cannes.
Yeah.
It's moments that move the world.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit, what would you say in the digital industry is what moved in your eyes? What was that one thing?
Well, I think it's probably my story actually.
Yeah.
So I came to Cannes at my prior company. I came to Cannes and I saw Evan Spiegel, Snap's founder, speak and bring to Cannes for the first time our advertising product. And at the time it was called 3V, or vertical video ads.
Yeah.
And we were reminiscing before this interview. There was an article by a prominent journalist in the media, and it sort of slammed Evan and saying that, you know, who's going to look at an ad vertically? They're just going to tilt their phone. Absolutely. And saying that, you know, Snap will lose to another partner in this space. And you fast forward to today, yeah. And that is the norm, right? So Evan really spotted that and brought a very revolutionary video advertising platform to the market, and people didn't really get it back then. And I feel like I'm having the same conversation now with augmented reality, yeah. Right? So I think that has been a big moment of change, and that's, you know, why I love working at Snap, because I really truly feel that we're innovating in the right way for the industry.
It's honestly, it was a game changer. Vertical to portrait, it's honestly not something that I've given much thought, and I was probably one of the very overcritical people back in the day too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
When I look at it now, I'm like, I cannot think that experience would be the same without it. So I absolutely love that you gave that example.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, like it creates new challenges actually for the industry, yeah. Because the industry is used to making one little creative banner and pushing that on platforms and it doing its job for a month on end, right? Yeah. Whereas with vertical video, you have to be thinking about new content all the time. That's what our users demand. And so I think that's going to sort of transform the way that the entire industry works when it comes to advertising.
Absolutely. Before we go, I do want to ask your opinion. What do you think is the biggest trends for 2023?
Wow. Well, I think measurement attribution is an absolutely massive topic, and privacy and some of the changes that Apple are making. So that's going to be a forcing function for the way that companies measure and attribute their media. And we're going into a more difficult economic time, and profitability becomes the key. So I think what that is going to change is change the way that customers approach how they measure media. So whether it's MMM or whether it's control exposed geo holdouts, yeah. Or whether it's lift-based measurement, I think you're going to start to see that sort of pivot to new measurement paradigms, and I think that's definitely keeping us all awake at night.
Definitely.
You know, augmented reality, as we've talked about a lot, right, and personalization, and how that's going to sort of change industries like e-commerce, as we mentioned. But you know, just in summary, it's great to just see that this advertising festival is back, and to meet really interesting people and to see how we can all move the industry to change in a positive way.
No, absolutely. I've had some really interesting conversations today, in which one of them have definitely been you. So thank you so much for joining.
My absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.